So here it is, the Urban Expanses update. So they made a bunch of changes which may be preventing you from finding the things that you built previously. So this video will briefly show you how to do that. So when you first booted up the game, it would have asked you to transfer your mods, which mods you wanted to transfer. So I already clicked that, and I just transferred everything. So then you would think to yourself, I can just open up the submarine editor and all my stuff will be there, but it is not. You have to go to settings, this is the new settings menu. Click on the old puzzle piece, and here you can see all of your mods, or in this case my mods, listed. This also includes item assemblies, which is kind of annoying, and it doesn't tell you which ones are which. So you literally just move these over to move them back into your game so that you can access them in the submarine editor. So let's just move some of my mods over, I suppose, that I actually want. So sure, let's just test that. So there you can see all the stuff I moved over is there. And there you have it. Loads back in, nothing seems to be really broken. And this also lets us use it in the campaign now. So previously, and also all this stuff is here too, because I guess I made them subs and not undefined. So there you have it. Alright, so here it is. We're going to be going through the changelog here, because I just want to read through the whole thing, and I'm just going to do it. So here it is, Urban Expanses. It's the colony overhaul. So I'm going to read through the whole thing and just talk about what I think about any of the things that seem interesting. We've reworked the appearance and available services of colonies, the biggest outposts, to make them look and feel like real cities. Okay, I read this before. So they're going to make it look totally different. Great. They got some different colored stuff with the lights. Perfect timing for me to release one of my mods. Bigger colonies with better layouts using less random generation. Great. Multiple merchants. Perfect. Crew wallets. This is a pretty sweet change. Now everybody gets spending money, so if you play on a multiplayer server, it's great, I guess. You have your own money to buy your own trader-related things. I mean, I'm playing the solo campaign, so I don't really care about this, but it's going to be fun for multiplayer. The modding refactor. We've rewritten much of our modding related code, so this seems like it's better, but it's really not much different from my perspective. This is good though. Much more official modding documentation. I haven't read that, but I'm gonna, because I don't know how to make mods for this game. So if you're gonna look at any mods that you've downloaded or created, you have to go to the modding tab in the game settings. So they even show you that here, right here. And I showed you that at the beginning. And there's also some new things. Here we go. The Latcher. Say hello to our newest abyss-dwelling monster, or don't, if you don't like things that latch onto your submarine and pull you down into the murky depths. The Latcher can be encountered earlier in the game than the other two abyss monsters. So I'm not going to watch that, because we're going to read the changes. Okay. So changes and additions, version 17.12. Overhauled colonies, so we read about that already. New modules and layouts. Split outpost stores into several different vendors, we read that already too. New store and sub-editor categories. Oh yeah, so they changed some of the categories in the sub-editor. Adjusted the amount of colonies in the cold caverns. I'm not sure how this is going to affect my game. Personal wallets, we read that already. Items can be purchased from outpost vending machines using the personal wallet. That's interesting. I don't know what they could have in it. Rework the power distribution logic. So there's some power changes which I would say I would be excited about, because some of the power things in this game are janky and you don't know how they work unless you try and fail. So it says this should fix instability and inconsistencies in power grids involving relays and batteries. So that's if you stack relays and batteries in the wrong order, everything lights on fire. Adjustments to reactors and supercaps to prevent increased supercap loads from crippling the subs on default recharge rates. I don't know what they mean by crippling the subs, but okay. Slightly increased humpback reactor output and decrease the default recharge rate of the capacitors. Okay, so they made some minor changes. Ballast flora improvements. Improved damage visuals. Branches die when cut from the root. The flora regenerates health at a rate relative to its size. See, that's a change I like, because if you played the game before, you get the ballast flora. It infects like one bilge pump, and the thing has like 1,000,000 health, and it regenerates instantly, and it's like, dude. Anyway, the first time you encounter it, I'm sure it kills you. Made text displays and terminals craftable, attachable, detachable. Okay, that's cool. So you can do extra dicking around. Made concat components separator field editable mid-round. Okay. Made Deadeye carbine fire and bursts. I guess that makes it better, because otherwise you're clicking in a frenzy. Animation adjustment, the head now. Okay, so these ones I like. If you're out swimming, your bloody flashlight doesn't, you know, turn where your head is looking. So you're like shooting behind you like a moron. So this will hopefully fix it. And you can't see where you're shooting either. The head now rotates towards the mouse cursor while aiming or swimming. Perfect. Swim animation adjustment. The body now rotates towards the aim target. Oh, okay, perfect. So that's the same thing. Your body rotates and your head rotates. So like you would. Because what person on Earth, like, flips the gun behind them? Okay, set the bottom hole probability to 0 in the cold caverns. Okay, which reduces the size and frequency of holes in the level bottom. This was a good one. You used to be able to literally, first mission of the game, you undock and you're going down and you just go all the way down into the abyss. Day 1. In minute 1. Hilarious. I actually played a game where I can't remember which one of the abyss creatures spawned. The Charybdis or whatever. Like instantly. I've been playing the game for 5 minutes. Okay, which was fun. But if you're a new player, you'd be like, what the hell? So where were we? Characters spawn at a spawn point appropriate for their job. Okay, well this doesn't affect you unless you use console commands. Added low oxygen output to oxygen detectors. So this, if you built any systems basically to detect when oxygen was low, now you can just delete that. So that's convenient. Beacon missions can spawn other types of monsters. Okay, so you may have noticed when you complete a beacon mission, you turn on the sonar, and like 3 or 4 crawlers or 5 crawlers or 10 crawlers or whatever just spawn sort of nearby and like attack you. So now you're gonna have other stuff. Okay. Made supercaps take some damage when they're being charged faster than 70%. Pfft. Okay, this seems totally arbitrary. Like, why? What's the point of that? Anyway. Increased Orca 2's reactor output. Don't know why that happened either, because I didn't really use the Orca 2. Adjustments to mission distribution. Only easy missions at the beginning of the campaign. Move some of the more difficult missions. Okay, well that's fine. Whatever. I guess if you don't know how to play the game, you were probably getting stomped at the very beginning, like as I described with Abyss monsters, etc. Made the not components continuous output property editable in game. Okay, so this was just missing. I don't know if that's like a... You would say to yourself, my god, that is like a critical thing I'm missing. Although, you can use it for trolling, though, much more easily. I'm not sure what the cost is, so that's a good one. Now you can buy that and use it for trolling. Because it continuously outputs a 1, right? You can just screw up anything with that. Show warnings when saving a sub in the sub-editor if any of the entity counts are very high. Okay, this is a good one. Because it's easy to get too many lights and screw up the performance. Don't allow saving. I don't really like it. You don't allow saving. Like, you're deciding what the upper limit is. It better be high, whatever it is. Okay, these ones are juicy. Added power value out and load value out connections to relays, batteries, and supercaps. See, this is what everybody is going to be, like, happy about, I think, whether or not they realize this is here. Because now you can control your power in ways that you always wanted to. Basically, they had no handles in the game to allow you to see charge or look at charge or see power in any way other than charge out on the batteries. So you're just like a fool jamming batteries everywhere if you want to track that stuff. It was stupid. So this kind of fixes it, because I guess you still have... Oh yeah, it's relays, right? So that's the key one right there. Boosted the structure damage from the small crawler eggs. Well, I don't know what that is. Did you throw that? Adjusted structure and item damage for coil gun ammunition. Piercing 50% less damage. Exploding 100% more damage from explosions. Physical 50% more damage. So piercing sucks versus structures now. Okay. Don't populate the abyss in difficulty levels 0 to 10 in single mission mode. Okay, that's good to know. Hopefully it tells you that. Modified Selkie emergency hatch. I can only use it if the shuttle is flooded. Okay. Probably because they always have people bailing out of the Selkie like fools. Okay. Reduce the probability for the coil gun to dismember limbs or break armor. So that probably helps when the bots are bloody shooting you. Removed submarine download confirmation prompt. All subs that are required to play in a server will be downloaded automatically, which shouldn't be a problem since they're only stored temporarily. Okay, well thanks for that heads up. Shouldn't be a problem. Buffed ethanol and tobacco's effects. See, yeah, this one I like because they didn't really do much. You could get really wasted and it was like, took forever to happen. Tobacco didn't seem to do anything. You'd have to be constantly smoking, it was dumb. Rename details to manage and permissions to rank in the client management context menu to make them a little more clear. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Changes to character aiming behavior. I wonder what they are. Water no longer dirties up walls. Okay. Disabled store category buttons for categories that contain no items. Great. So then I won't waste time clicking on that button when there's no weapons. Oops. Let's try not to misclick off the thing while we're clicking around like a fool. Okay, where was I? Okay, so that's all of the changes to the base game. So let's get the modding changes. An extensive rewrite of the game, how the game handles packages and loading content, addresses a ton of issues, inconsistencies and usability issues regarding modding. Okay. The mods folder has been replaced by folders called workshop mods, local mods. Okay, so they divided up your folders now. So this is why you have to transfer your stuff at the beginning. Any mods stored in the workshop that you don't transfer, I guess, have to be modified manually. Submarines are no longer saved in the submarines folder because it made it easy to get vanilla and custom subs mixed up. Fine. The sub editor now automatically creates a new local mod for each save submarine. Okay, that makes sense. That's how it should have been done. Remade the workshop menu and made it a tab of the settings menu. Good. More robust handling of the mod loader, overrides and variants. Okay. Clients now download the mods as a server is using directly from the server, fixing content mismatches. Okay, good. So it looks like they cleaned it up, right? Mods have version numbers, perfect. Workshop now preview images are no longer saved in the game folder. Good. Switching languages no longer requires restarting the game. I didn't know that was a thing, but that would be annoying. Music can be overridden by identifiers. Not sure what that means. Re-implemented server executable to be usable in non-core packages. Now players must select a server executable from a drop-down in the host server menu. Okay, so you can run with different core packages in the server more easily. Character, gender, and ethnicity are no longer hard-coded. Modders can use any kind of arbitrary tags to categorize. Okay, so you can't just... Great, that doesn't affect me yet. I'm not making any mods. Okay, so you can add a new accessible by owner property to inventories. So you can access your inventory even when you're dead. Great. Is that what that means? Okay. Fixed clients not gaining control of the final stage of a husk affliction when control husk is enabled. Interesting. Okay, when using a mod that doesn't set the initial count of any job, choose the first 3 jobs as starting crew, otherwise the crew customization menu will be empty and the starting campaign will lead to an immediate game over. Well, so that's basically if you didn't set that up. You just break your game. Well, I'm glad they fixed that. Made it possible for attack status effects to target the character doing the attack instead of the limb by using parent. Okay, interesting. Using remove character on a limb removes the character that limb belongs to. So it looks like these are just like a bunch of fixes, right? So fixed editing human character in the character editor, sometimes making the inventory inaccessible. Editor crashing, some crash fixes. So the game, like, they do a lot of these crash fixes, and which I like, but I don't know, it's a little alarming that there's so many of them every time. But okay, because I would expect sort of this many crash fixes and whatnot to be, you know, addressed in early access, I guess. Whatever. Ropes attached to limbs now automatically snap when another attack is chosen. Okay, so this is for building characters, right? Projectiles always stick permanently. Characters with the formable sprites can be set to be drawn after on top of other characters. Normally characters are drawn in the order of spawning. Okay. AI triggers cannot be permanent. Added a generic damage threshold that currently defines how much damage a character needs to take from a single hit to hit the avoiding and releasing captured targets. I'm not sure what that means. So I don't do any modding of the characters, so I'm not sure what most of this stuff is referring to. If you do, this may be fixing things that you were having issues with. Fixed crashing when trying to move Fog of War at the very edge of this campaign map. I mean, I haven't come across that issue yet. Okay. Option to make missions force a ruin in the level. See, that's cool, because I like there to be always more junk in the levels for me to explore. So that's good. So character editor, level editor, no longer save the no content. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's get the monsters. There's monsters and balance and AI, so there's more things that we need to look at. Added the Latcher, the new Abyss monster. Added a difficulty hierarchy for the Abyss monster. Easier monsters should spawn more frequently on an easier difficulty level. Harder spawn more harder on. Okay. So currently the new Abyss monster is defined as easiest, and Endworm is the hardest. Well, okay, this thing is insanely difficult to kill, so... I mean, both of these things, all of them are. What the hell? I don't even know what the Latcher is yet, but I'm sure it's hard to kill too. Revisited the Endworm. The armor now breaks less easily. Great, so they buffed it. Reduce the change of cutting the worm towards the head. Reduce the change of cutting the worm to... What the hell is that supposed to mean? Adjusted the bleeding speed? Like, I don't understand this sentence, really. But okay. Adjusted the bleeding speed. How? So a lot of these change notes are like missing information. Like, changes made. But let us continue. Adjusted Abyss resource spawning. Less resources per level. The number of resources relative to the difficulty. The spawn resources aren't guaranteed to always be the 5 least common alien materials. Okay. So if you go to the Abyss, there's some like high level stuff you can find there. So it looks like they adjusted that. Made Molochs, Abyss monsters, and fractal guardians immune to poisons. Okay, well, I mean, I had poisoned a Moloch before, but that's... whatever. It is what it is. Fixed monsters sometimes trying to follow targets after losing the track of them, even when they should be falling back from them, according to the after attack behavior. Okay, so I guess sometimes the monsters would still, like, follow you, even though they lost track of you. Fixed monsters sometimes using the after attack behavior of the current attack, even when the cooldown of that attack is not active. Oh. Okay. So these look like fixes to monster attacks. Fixed monsters sometimes being unable to target the submarine. It's incorrectly considered invalid. I think I've seen that before. Fixed fractal guardians fleeing to a shelter immediately after taking some damage. Yeah, and they always... I've seen that too. They bugger off instantly. When they have targeted the guardian pod once you have not changed the target yet. That's fairly complicated behavior. Adjusting the probabilities for spawning the Thalamus and the Rex. Okay, again, how did you adjust them? Because I would argue that the Thalamus was spawning ridiculously often. Like, if you watched my campaign playthrough video literally first mission, first wreck. Right? Right. I've been in the game for 5 minutes, and it's like Thalamus just like railing you. So hopefully they sort of reduced it at the beginning of the game. Rebalanced Mud Raptors. Slightly more health, less damage at head. So you do less damage to their heads. Crawler. Adjusted the vitality multipliers of hands and tail from 50 to 75%. So you do more damage if you hit them in the tail. Fixed giant spiraling targeting doors after being attacked, which it shouldn't do by design. Might affect other creatures too. Targeting doors. I'm not sure if I really noticed that behavior, but a little unusual. Fixed Klaxonide, not damaging the naturally spawning husks. I think I've actually encountered this before. It only works on, like, you turning into a husk, or your crewmate or whatever. Giant spawning doesn't flee anymore when being shot with a coil gun. Okay, because yeah, those things used to just bugger off, right? Adjusted the kill hammerhead mission. I wonder how this is adjusted, right? Like, again, a bunch of these are just like adjusted. How did you adjust it? More? Less hammerheads? Bigger hammerheads? Fatter hammerheads? Like, are they yellow or green or silver now or something? Anyway, whatever. Alright, balance changes. Increase the price of Klaxonide to make it more in line with the price of husk eggs. So they increased it, I think. Fixed wrecked supply cabinets being treated as normal supply cabinets. Oh, reduce the amount of loot spawned to them. Okay. Adjust the medical item spawns in the wreck and abandoned med cabinets. Less powerful medicines, basic ingredients, consumables are more common, but come in low quantities. Okay. Great. Increase the amount of scrap in wrecks. Okay. Increase gene splicer's price from 200 to 500. Okay, so they increased that. Increase the commonness of Esperite and Galena, which are sources of lead. Okay, well, I mean, I didn't know if lead was really hard to find. You can just usually buy a ton of it from the first mining outpost that you come across and you're good to go, but that's just me. Okay, so AI changes. Fixed bots accidentally shooting with the weapon if they have it equipped when they try to use the underwater scooter. Haven't encountered that, but great. Fixed bots still sometimes getting stuck when trying to get something from or put something to secure lockers. I may or may not have seen that. Fixed bots acting weird while trying to use underwater scooters inside. I love how it's just like acting weird. How are they acting weird? You mean like gyrating around like maniacs? Because I've seen that. Fixed bots failing to heal characters in a docked sub or shuttle. Okay, good, because I use the bots for medical purposes. Adjusted bot behavior around ballast flora. The priority of some objectives now drops to 0 when the targets being claimed by ballast flora. Items claimed by ballast flora aren't valid targets. Thank bloody Christ. Because I'll tell you, if you play on the solo, this was like, bro, you get ballast flora, the first thing, you waste the critical first like 30 seconds to a minute micromanaging the bots so they don't go in the goddamn room and die instantly. Right? Because as soon as you start damaging things in there, right, like drain the water, the ballast pumps start taking damage, the bots are like, I'm gonna fix that shit. And they would die. You know, because you're there with the flamethrower, an idiot just runs right into it. So, good. I'm glad they fixed that. Made bot healing dialogue reflect if CPR was performed or not. Okay. Fixed security from the player's own crew attacking the player in multiplayer when the player attacks someone in an outpost. Yes, see, that happens. And I was like, dude, I just want to murder this guy in this hallway. Piss off my own security guy. Fix bots not ignoring items marked to be hidden in-game. Interesting. Bots prefer not to take diving suits off in rooms merged with is wet flag. Docking ports are now automatically considered as wet rooms. Okay. Fixed bots trying to target through doors and walls even though there's no line of sight between the end node and the target. I think I've ran into that before too. Sometimes they're just like shooting the wall randomly. Added some dialogue to bots when they get infected with the husk infection. So now I know if they get infected. That makes that easier if you play on solo. Fixed bots sometimes getting stuck to doors when they are trying to fix a hull behind it. Happened because the go-to objective was completed before the bot could open the door. I've also encountered this. It looks like they're just humping the door forever. So that's good. Like, right, if you play with bots, it looks like like I said, they're fixing things. Every update they fix a bunch of stuff. This stuff should have kind of already been fixed. Attempted to fix a crash in the AI objective extinguish fire. Okay. Fixed bots not being able to repair leaks between rooms. Leaks that are not in the outer walls. Yeah, see, I think I've encountered that too. Like, I mean, to sum it up, the bot's behavior is pretty friggin' bugged, and they fix it slowly as time goes on. Waypoint fixes. Fixed bots occasionally getting stuck while climbing ladders connecting up with modules. Fixes to waypoint generator mainly on stairs. Fix the null reference exception when a bot is dismissed while being told to follow the player and still in the combat state. I think. Sounds familiar. You know, if you're ever trying to bring the bots with you to fight things, it's just an exercise in tedium, and like, I mean, I know, right, I like a tedious game, but like, we're talking like, dude, I'm trying to play the game here, not like click like an idiot on all kinds of different icons for no reason. Fixed items flagged as a hidden in-game, being considered interactable and therefore valid repair targets. Okay. Fixed outpost guards not arresting the offender when it's very far from them. So now what you're saying is the guy is just going to come barreling from across the map to get you. Fixed bots sometimes failing to navigate back to the sub when they are on the other side of the sub. Okay, fine. Well, that's probably just bugged waypoint pathing though, right? I never had that problem. Okay, let us continue. Talents. So the fixes, some of the stuff I'm really expected to get into juicy stuff with. So talents. Fix to yet another issue sometimes prevented unlocking additional talents after unlocking All-Seeing Eye. Okay. Fixed curiosity talent not giving experience to allies. Okay. So I mean, I haven't really played the game very much to know what the talents are so far, so I don't understand again necessarily if these are an issue or not. Like, probably looks like they just had some like poorly coded things, like Pyromaniac giving 39.9% damage resistance instead of 40. Like, that's like a rounding error, right? Fixed ability to tinker indefinitely. So okay, so it looks like they fixed that exploit, tinkering exploit. Fixed trusted captain and esteemed captain giving medals even when no missions being completed. So that was probably also a hilarious exploit. Fixed disconnected players preventing talents that require everyone to survive from working. Oh, so if you disconnect, that would break. That would be annoying. Fixed Deep Sea Slayer, always giving you 50% buff to harpoons regardless of if you're inside or not. So you have to be outside. Fixed Deep Sea Slayer talent not affecting explosive harpoons. Okay, good. Looks like they fixed things that need to be fixed. Alright. There's a lot of fixes. So, like, this is the part where there's some things where I'm excited to read what kind of things they fixed that were broken. Okay. Fixed monsters being able to attack with practically no cooldown when they're taking constant damage from a player. Good. Fixed crawler eggs not being displayed on the sonar. I thought you could see them, so maybe that was a bug that only sometimes came up. Fixed aiming being slightly off when crouching and not moving. I'm not sure about that one. Fixed item interfaces getting misaligned when there's several linked item UIs visible at the same time. Good. I'd like to. I'll have to test this to see if that made a significant difference to, you know, looking at two interfaces at the same time. Fixed inability to interact with door hatches through docking ports. Doors/hatches, I should say. I'm not sure if I encountered that, but good. Fixed escort missions failing if the escorted characters are in a shuttle. Okay, good. Dock to the main sub, because that's a burn. The guy's there, he's just like in the shuttle. Fixed pumps rounding the pumping rate value to -39 instead of -40. Okay, hadn't run into that. Fixed shell shields dropping from Moloch's inventories when they spawn, because they could only be placed in hand slots, which the Molochs do not have. So if you encountered a random Moloch shield, that's where it came from. No more random Moloch shields to find. Fixed linked subs not being taken into account in the cargo capacity displayed in the subs info panel. Okay, that's good. Fixed ID card descriptions disappearing between rounds. Didn't know that was a problem, but good fix. Fixed ID card description not being added if the ID card tags are empty. Good. Fixed error text in the medical clinic UI when trying to heal a character who's disconnected. Did that... You could do that? Try to heal somebody who's disconnected? Oh yeah, I guess, fine. Makes sense. Because I guess... Does their body still stay there? I thought it disappeared. Fixed text overlapping on a health scanner HUD when using a text scale above 100%. Yeah, there's some like text scale bugs in this game. I'm not surprised if we see more of those as we go. Fixed snap to grid not working on structures. Snap to grid is broken AF, so let's see if that's fixed. Update items, hulls after creating the hulls between docking ports. Fixes example water detectors between docking ports, still thinking they're outside after the ports lock and the area between them drains. Okay, good. Okay. I don't know if that... Did that affect me? Fix decorative sprites rotating incorrectly on vertically mirrored items. Disable collisions between subs when locking the docking ports between them. Fixes the ports leaving a gap between them if some structures of the sub... Yeah, okay, so I had this before where you'd have this weird death gap between things sometimes. Fixed... Okay. Here it is, boys. Fixed Wi-Fi components ignoring signals to the signaling connection if the signal originated from another Wi-Fi component that can't transmit to this one. So a Wi-Fi component passes a signal through a wire to another Wi-Fi component using a different channel. If you've ever tried to mess with Wi-Fi signals or move them around or do anything, you would immediately encounter this and it's broken and you're like, a foul game is foul. I mean, I'm so glad they finally bloody fixed this, even though I don't think it was affecting any of my mods or even things I wanted to build. It's just annoying when you encounter shit like that and it doesn't work. So thank you for fixing that. Fixed drop signal components being drawn behind devices. That's funny. I had not seen that one. Fixed SMGs autofilled into the sub, sometimes spawning without magazines. I've seen that before. Fixed misaligned label 6 nickel. Yes, yes, you did it. What it was the front of the 6 was chopped off like that, and it was funny. I just noticed it actually recently. You did it, boys. I don't even care what else is here. This is the main one. This is the key thing. Attempt to fix occasional performance drops in the store interface. Actually, I noticed that as well. You just drop a ton of frames for no reason when you open the store interface. Fixed clients seeing a blank server lobby if they join when a round is running with respawning disabled. Fixed arithmetic and trigonometric components not passing the sender of the signal forwards, preventing... Okay, good. So, there's a lot of broken shit with the electrical components in this game, and I'm glad they're fixing it. But again, what the fuck is this? It's like... Anyway. I'm glad they fixed that. Why was that even broken, right? Fixed occasional crashes when transitioning between levels with Showproof enabled in multiplayer campaign. Okay. Fixed wearables not affecting movement speed when God mode is on. Okay, I don't use God mode. Fixed periscopes not focusing on turrets if there are certain components between them. And I wonder if this fixes some of my builds, because I did notice this. If you put certain components in there, it's like the gun is here and your camera's like friggin' somewhere else, like not on the gun. And I'm like that's literally my reaction every time. Like, dude, how are some things working, but some things are so broken? Anyway, fixed crashing when trying to use the dump vent text command with no arguments or disallowed path. Made smoke detectors a little more sensitive. Should fix small fires sometimes not being detected. Okay. Fixed reactor sometimes not catching fire again if you start overheating it immediately. Yeah, I knew this one, because you could cheese the reactor. Fixed recycling, a non-empty SMG magazine dropping the bullet inside it on the floor. I've seen that before too, that was annoying. You'd have these like loose bullets floating around. Fixed empty spawner component spawn area being inverted. Fixed gaps generating incorrectly on shell A 70 degrees. Okay, well I'm not sure if I'm using that anywhere, but good. Fixed items powered by battery cells not working correctly. Certain devices like handheld sonar beacons never powering up, and items staying powered indefinitely when you put in a battery and take it out. Unstable only. What does that mean? I guess I haven't ever encountered that. Fixed turret lights starting in an incorrect rotation in the sub-editor. Yeah, that's annoying. Good they fixed that. Fixed commander talent still not correctly giving the buff. Giving orders that a character already had didn't move the... Giving orders that a character already had didn't move the buff. Okay. unstable only. I don't know what does unstable only mean. Does that mean they made the fix, but it doesn't always work? That's what that means? Okay, fine. Fixed nav terminals, sometimes determining which docking port the docking button controls incorrectly, specifically when the correct docking port is also connected to other ports. Okay, so if you were combining docking ports, it had like a race condition. That doesn't surprise me. Fixed an exploit in the depleted fuel magazine recipe, okay. Fixed reactor gauges, background sticking out from the gauges when selecting a reactor in the editor. I don't know if I noticed that or not. Fixed fractal guardians fleeing to the shelter immediately after taking some damage. Didn't we already read this? Okay, some of these might be repeated. Fixed crawler broodmother regenerating really fast while eating. Broodmother no longer eats her own eggs. I didn't know that they did that, but that's funny. Fixed spinelings accidentally killing each other with their spikes. I've seen that before. Too bad that can't happen anymore. Fixed burn being ignored in the damage modifier of Charybdis's head. The jaw worked correctly. Affects pulse laser damage, for example. Okay. So basically you do more damage now with the laser to the Charybdis's head. Fixed lights that are drawn behind subs counting as shadow casting in the sub editor. Good. Fixed server host creating 2 disconnect message boxes. Okay, yeah, this was annoying. There's a duplicate message box bugs in this game. Fixed text scale not being taken into account on scrolling text displays. Okay, good also, yeah, because that was dumb. Refilled Typhon 2 oxygen tank shells. Okay, they were empty. Fixed spawn point editing panel being too small on large resolutions. Okay. Fixed inability to equip one-handed items when there's a suitable container in the other hand. Example, flashlight. Yeah, this has happened to me. Cargo missions don't require the cargo to be inside the hull. Ooh, being in the sub is enough. Fixes inability to complete cargo missions with the unconventional subs with the cargo stored outside the hulls. Okay, cool. I mean, I never really considered doing that because I was trying to, like, make more conventional things, but kudos for considering that, devs. Fix non-equipped items that can't be put into a duffel bag disappearing when a character despawns. Okay. Fixed incorrect animation parameters being used for swimming while wearing a regular diving suit. Didn't notice that one. Fixed projectiles sometimes staying attached to the target even when they're far from it. I've seen that before. Basically, the thing is here and the thing's over here. You know, it's a classic bug where it's like its hitbox is like outside of it. Fix multiplayer campaign saves with semicolons or pipes in the name causing path to save files empty. Okay, yeah, we may find more of these bug fixes. Like, the game doesn't handle special characters well. Like, you could do stupid things by handing special characters, I don't know, to try them all yourself, certain characters to different places, saving file names, etc. cause weird errors. Fix performance drops in multiplayer when someone attacks the outpost NPCs and causes the reputation to drop. Moved the show perf view to the right to prevent it from overlapping with crew list. Fix status monitors, electrical view, and item finder not showing items in dock subs. Okay, the sound of crowbarring a door open can't be heard from other subs. Is that a statement? Or do they mean it now can't be heard from other subs? Okay. Fixed a gaze into the abyss achievement working unreliably. Okay, I noticed that some achievements were broken and difficult to get, so this one looks like they fixed it. So you had to go back to 50% of the crush depth. Yeah, so basically if you tried to get this in the early levels, you like couldn't, as it were. You had to get it like later into the campaign. That would explain why so many people don't, like, it's such a... Because it's so easy, right? You just go down, but so few people have it. Broken achievement is broken. Fix certain achievements, last man standing, lone sailor, finishing around without a specific job, not unlocking if you're in a dock sub. See, again, right? That would prevent you from getting achievements. Readjusted all sitting animations so the characters shouldn't twitch. Some of these are just epic. That they, like, you notice this but not that, you know? Doubled the rate limit for medical clinic, which should reduce no response from server errors, okay? Fixed swimming characters sometimes being unable to stand up on stairs platforms even if the water is shallow enough. I think I've run into that. Fix the guitar and harmonica being rendered on top of the water effect. Okay. Fix guitar, harmonica, accordion, and captain's pipe having neutral buoyancy. Oh, so they wouldn't sink. I think I've seen that before. They just float in midair. Fixed mid-round joining clients not seeing subs purchased during that round. Fixed research station being repairable by clicking on it instead of pressing E. Fixed medical curtains disappearing before they're off screen. Fixed karma preset being forced to default when starting a new server. So these are just sort of quality of life things that I like. Fixed Herge's rear motion detector being connected to an incorrect display. So at the bottom turret display having an incorrect text. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of other things that you didn't fix there, guys. Fixed crash caused by selection not being cleared when auto-completing or running a console command. Fixed occasional performance dips when spinaling spikes get stuck in the sub-exterior walls. I've actually ran into that before. It's like the spinaling spine is like dragging you or something and it like drops frames. Fixed item assemblies getting misaligned with the grid after saving. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you've ever pasted an item assembly, you know it is never on the same godforsaken grid as the one. Please God, let this fix what I hope it fixed. Fixed shell A18 not aligning with the other pieces. Great. Fixed welding tools, plasma cutters, and water enhanced particle effects getting clamped to the edges of the hole there inside. I think I might have noticed that. It's like, yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Basically, the particles go in the wrong order. Fixed permission icon in the client list not updating mid-round. Fixed lock default wires server setting not affecting dock subs. Fixed the dugons. Ha! That's interesting. I noticed that. Fixed Dugon's small pumps working without power. Did they fix other things about the Dugon? We shall see. Fixed buttons in the structure editing menu using a different style than the other types of menu. Okay. Alright, boys. That's a lot of fixes. I think it's pretty good. Like, you're making good progress. There's a lot of stuff that still seems broken, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So I guess that will conclude our looking at all the changes. I'm going to go probably play the game now. Maybe submit a few more mods. So happy gaming, I guess. And see you next time for some more vanilla builds wiring explanations.